Benvolgudes autoritats, representants del Govern de Catalunya, del Ministeri de Ciència i Innovació i representants de la regió convidada de Flandes. Good morning, esteemed guests, colleagues and friends. My name is Mariona Badenas and I'm an astrophysicist and last year PhD student at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston. And about a decade ago, I left Barcelona to pursue a career in the United States, hoping that I would be able to come home one day to contribute to the Catalan space sector, either from the perspective of academia or the private world. Today, I'm only a few months away from my PhD defense, and as I think about my future, I cannot help but feel profound gratitude to each and all of you. Gratitude for your role in helping to expand and consolidate the Catalan space sector, making it possible for people like me and many people in the audience to come home one day and do what they love. So with this note of gratitude, it is therefore a true pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to the second day of the NewSpace Economy Congress. And as my colleagues Miquel and Estelle mentioned to you yesterday, this Congress was born about 4 years ago thanks to the efforts of the Catalan space industry. And since then, it has gathered hundreds of participants from Catalonia and abroad to bring together national and international key players in the space sector, discuss state-of-the-art technologies and their social implications, and enable participants to meet and share their experiences and knowledge in the field. So I hope that you will join me today in trying to achieve all these goals. If you have had a chance to look at today's schedule, you will have probably seen that we have an exceptional lineup of talks centered around the idea of inspiration. In particular, today's theme revolves around the question of how can we bring novel space technologies into our everyday lives and harness all their power to make our planet a better place. But before I delve into today's agenda, I would like to start by thanking the organizers, partners, sponsors, and collaborating institutions for making this conference a reality. More specifically, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to the Congress co-organizers, the Government of Catalonia, and the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce, the Congress partners, I2CAT, the Institute of Space Studies of Catalonia, the Cartographic and Geological Institute of Catalonia and KIMBCN, all the conference collaborators, the Jupiter sponsors, Airbus, Augusta Abogados, Flanders Investment and Trade, GTD Espassat and Molière, the Mars sponsors, ANSYS, Isarsat, Lobelia, Open Cosmos, Osmium, Pangea Aerospace, Sateliot, and Telespazio. And of course, at a more personal level, I would also like to thank these institutions and the people that work for them for inviting me to present here today. Since we're only starting this Thursday morning, I would like to give you a quick recap of yesterday's technical journey across the new space sector. As you know, we first took off with a discussion on the significance of small satellite constellations, looking at how they will impact our daily lives in a variety of ways, from improving communications worldwide to helping us monitor climate change. We then learned about the growing new space economy and how space-related applications are becoming catalysts for technological developments, including new tools in cybersecurity and quantum physics. To complement these perspectives, we also had the chance to hear about Spanish and European observation and navigation programs, such as the Atlantic Constellation, as well as how these programs are radically changing the way we connect and interact with one another. And finally, we concluded by thinking about how each of us can contribute to the new space sector, either from a financial or investment perspective, as well as from a shared responsibility to educate, mentor, and support new and existing talent in this field. Today, we have an opportunity to better understand that space is not only about exploration, but also about transformation of our planet into a better place. To put it differently, the space sector is not only tasked with the goal of launching satellites, probes, rovers, and even people into space, which we know humans are good at since at least the 1950s, but with the multidisciplinary endeavor of developing cutting-edge technologies with the power to transform the way we live, think, and behave here on this planet. So keeping this notion of transformation in mind, today's speakers will look at how space services and space applications can have a direct and positive impact on our lives, national economies, and human-made and nature-based disasters. In a few minutes, we will start with an overview of the global space economy and of how communication strategies are key to inspiring future generations of scientists and industry leaders. We will then move on to the first panel of the day with representatives of Google Cloud, Lobelia Earth, Microsoft, and Inetum, who will discuss how satellite-based business models can be used to develop action plans and strategies to address everyday challenges, accelerate economic and business growth, and more broadly, achieve the sustainable goals of the United Nations 2030 Agenda. Following a well-deserved coffee break at 10:45 a.m., we will then proceed to the second panel of the day with representatives of Doctors Without Borders, Proactiva Open Arms, ISARTSAT, and the European Commission. And in this panel, we will learn about how satellite data and space technologies can play an instrumental role in addressing both small and large-scale problems on Earth, including climate monitoring and emergency responses to humanitarian crises. To continue our discussion on the transformative power of space, we will then have a third and last panel with Sateliot and representatives of the EU-funded Molière project and the Smart City World Expo Congress, in which we will learn about how new space technologies are revolutionizing our interaction with the environment, enabling the creation of not only smart cities, but also smart regions. And finally, we will hear about how investing in the new space sector can result in immense multidisciplinary benefits, not only for national economies, but also for the fabric of society more broadly. As some of you know, the International Space Station just turned 25 years old only 3 days ago on November the 20th. And I bring this up because to me, the International Space Station exemplifies two themes of today's conference session. In particular, how space is not only about exploring the unknown, but about taking space-related technologies down to the Earth to enact positive change and help us tackle the problems of modern societies. And also about how the new space sector has played a pivotal role in allowing these downstream services to happen, either on its own or in collaboration with national space agencies, federal governments, and the academic world. So without a doubt, today promises to be a day full of meaningful discussions that I'm sure we will remember for many days to come. Before we start with today's talks and you start getting bored of my speech, I would like to point out a few logistical points. First, we have a very busy morning, which is great, but it also means that we will have a very tight schedule. So therefore, please be on time for the start of each session. Second, we invite you to check out the exhibitors room at the end of this room, where you can network and discover booths from some of the participants and institutions that are present at this event. Third, we will continue to use the app Meet Maps to schedule B2Bs and interact with the speakers whenever possible. And if you have any problems with the app, please let us know. I also want to highlight that the app has a poll that consists of 5 questions with 3 to 4 answers. We currently have about 200 answers, but we have about 700 registered participants for this Congress. So we would appreciate if you could fill up this poll. It will help us get a sense of of your perspectives on the space sector. It will help us better understand what you think of today's edition of the Congress, and it will help us prepare the Congress next year. This poll will close at 1 p.m., so you still have a few hours to answer it. It will only take a few minutes. We would also appreciate if you could use the hashtag NewSpace23 to help us amplify beyond these walls your favorite parts of the conference. And finally, there will be, as I said, a coffee break at 10:45 a.m. and a farewell drink at 1:30 p.m. in the space yard, so in the ground floor downstairs. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get this conference started. Our first speaker of the day is Mr. Remco Timmermans, an expert of online marketing and social media for space companies, and someone who I admire as a teacher, space enthusiast, and a friend. Mr. Timmermans has a background in mechanical engineering and business administration, and he spent more than 15 years in the IT and finance sectors before joining the world of space. Today, he describes himself as a space ambassador, working on space communications with a large portfolio of international clients, companies, and institutions. At the same time, Mr. Timmermans is a professor at the International Space University and a member of the International Astronautical Federation Space Education Outreach Committee. Drawing from his professional experience in international business, management consulting, and the space industry, particularly as the founder of his own marketing space agency, Space IOU, and as the founding member of the NewSpace Communications Alliance, Mr. Timmermans will discuss today two important aspects of new space economies. On the one hand, he will share with us how space nations have a unique opportunity to join the global space economy. And on the other hand, he will highlight how space-related careers are now becoming a tangible possibility for students, entrepreneurs, and companies alike. And as someone who is always pioneering new approaches to communication, I could not think of a better person to kick off this Thursday morning with a fresh and dynamic talk. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Remco Timmermans to the stage.